football to the Troy University campus. And college football is more than just a game. It's an all-day and into-the-night social event, not only for students, but for alumni and friends of the university as well. Tailgating is a Southern tradition almost as old as football itself. Tailgating centers around fellowship and food. From outdoor cooking to special recipes, we show off to our friends and the extended family that make up Troy alumni groups. One of those groups who always have a large contingent at Troy home games is the Emerald Coast Alumni Association, headquartered on Florida's Gulf Coast. In this episode of the Taste and Traditions of Troy University, Lloyd Taylor of the Emerald Coast Alumni Association joins Mrs. Janice Hawkins in the kitchen of the Chancellor's residence to share some favorite recipes.
Emerald Coast has one of, if not, I can't say the best, but I can say one of the best alumni associations at Troy University. Tell us what's unique about it. Tell us what makes you all so successful.
Probably because we're a family, and we stress not only family membership among the actual members, but actually the extended family, the wives or the husbands and their children and even grandchildren and even friends. We're called Emerald Coast Chapter of Troy Alumni and Friends. And we enjoy the not only the homecoming, but tailgating at each of the events. It gives us an opportunity to meet old friends again, new acquaintances, networking business as well, even though because that's important. But our primary goal is to promote Troy University, because we're all so proud of what's happened. It's transformed into a major university in the southeast Alabama, and if you ask people where Troy University is now, you'll be surprised how many people throughout the world has heard of Troy University in the last 10 years.
That's right. Well, that leads me to another question that I ask many people. Whenever I go places, people ask me often, what is it that students love about, and people, graduates, alums, love about Troy University? And I can't really answer that, because although we've been here almost 24 years, I didn't go to school here. I wasn't that fortunate. So tell me what it is about Troy that makes people like you come back, be a part of it, and love it, and love the experience.
I don't think it's changed much since the time in the 60s that I was here to now, and what the question you're asking. It's the people that live in the town of Troy. I know that the Troy City Council, they're meshed in with the university in partnerships, and that helps makes the university. There are no strangers. The first person I met in Troy was the Wilson family, old Wilson's Barbecue. It's like our mother. We had money, but we'd spend it doing things we shouldn't, and she'd just mark it on the wall for us. Then the university, you had Dr. Trapp, came back 10 years later, knew my first name. Your husband now, he knows people's first name. He
speaks, amazing.
He communicates. And the staff, I have not met a stranger. I'm a very people-oriented person, but this university not only has high academic standards, and one thing Dr. Hawkins has said over and over again that struck with me is the value of your Troy diploma. It should be increasing every year, and that's through the leadership of Dr. Hawkins, his staff, and the administration.
Right, a lot of people.
And so it's the people. Everything's about people, in my opinion.
Well, I'll remember that the next time. I'll have a better answer, thanks to you.
Yes.
Well, you mentioned Wilson's Barbecue, which leads us into what we're doing here today. We are doing the cookbook, Taste and Traditions. This is the third edition. You know about the first two because you were involved and gave recipes, and I greatly appreciate that. We're doing the third edition, 125 years of Taste and Traditions of Troy University. So we've collected many recipes, and we're doing it in combination with 125 years of history related to people and food and places. And Wilson's Barbecue happens to be one of the recipes, some recipes for
camp stew, I hope.
Well, Dr. Adams apparently had his breakfast there every morning of the year, so they put that recipe in. An egg sandwich, I believe.
Yes.
But at any rate, we are doing this cooking show because we're highlighting the things that are in the cookbook, and you are one of the first people that came to mind because you have such a fabulous tailgating spot and are so famous for the things that you all prepare. And I know whenever we've gone by at homecoming, you've had a huge crowd. You always have a huge crowd, and it's because the food is so good and because you all are so welcoming and wonderful to everybody that comes.
We appreciate it. We hope all the other alumni groups that are being formed will start participating and come to the university and contribute and give back to the university, because it's only what you make it to be.
That's right. That's right. Well, we're really proud of our alumni groups, and they're springing up all over the world, so who knows what other kinds of foods we'll get at homecoming. So tell us about today. We have this lovely fish looking us eye to eye. So tell us what we're going to do today.
This is a small scamp. It's in the grouper family.
My favorite fish in the whole world.
You'll see to identify it, it has yellow around the lips, and it has a forked tail. This is only a 2-pound. It's a very small one. It's an excellent fish to fry or to bake.
Oh my goodness.
It's very mild, and I'd like to fillet it for you, and I'll show you how we prepare it to fry it.
Great.
So if I may, I'll start filleting.
You don't mind if I move back?
No, not at all, and I promise I will not sling any of it on you. The first thing you do is always have a very sharp knife. And this is a fish that you must skin. And by the way, I clean quite a few fish. I'm an investor with Dewey Destin. There's Dewey Destin Seafood restaurants, and 2 in Destin and 1 in Crestview. And we're distantly related. My grandfather, W.T. Martin, on my mother's side, named the town Destin in honor of Dewey's great-grandfather, who was his best friend. And Dewey was a commercial fish. He's a graduate of Auburn, was going to be a lawyer. His dad became very sick. He went in the family business. And then when Florida voted in the net ban, it put Dewey and his company out of business, which was about 100 people, because Destin water is so deep. The rules that they passed said that you had to be out a certain distance. And Dewey got back in this type business through me. I built a trailer to come up here and cook in.
You did, I know.
And I gave it to Dewey to start cooking out of, and that's how his restaurant business came. But back to the fish.
Yes.
I just filleted one side, I skinned it, I cut the rib cage out, which is excellent to eat, but if you're in a restaurant business or having folks over to eat, you don't want a bone caught in your throat.
Right, yes.
There's also a small bone right here, so you trim it out like this, and then you cut it in I cut it in angles this manner. And if I may, I'll walk over to the sink. The next thing is to wash your fish. So I've washed the fish, now I'm going to put it on a paper towel so it can soak up the moisture. It's not as easily.
That's quite all right.
Now, you notice the fish is white.
Yes.
It's a very mild fish. Most people use salt and pepper, that's all. And that's perfectly okay. I prefer to use Cajun spices, Tony's, and I'll season it up real good. And then we'll heat the oven, heat the frying pan with oil to about 350 to 375. And the first thing I cook, though, prior to the fish, is the hush puppies. If I may go over here and show, I have some hush puppy mixed up. I'll talk about the hush puppies. To make my hush puppies, I use my mother's old recipe that she made every year for church. We always have a fish fry once a year at church, and she would use Martha White hot rise cornmeal and Martha White hot rise flour. Now you say, what difference does that make? It's a big
difference.
Makes a difference.
I know. Maybe that's the tip I need.
You mix 2, now if you want it very light and fluffy, use 2 flours to 1 cornmeal and mix them together thoroughly by hand, dry, with salt and pepper and sugar. Once you get all that mixed thoroughly, then you add chopped onions, and you cannot put too many onions in your hush puppies. Chopped onions, some people may like to have corn in it. There's all kinds of variations. I put jalapenos, chopped up jalapenos. This happens to have that in it because I cooked last night for someone.
Well, tell us, if I may interrupt here, we've got 2 parts flour to 1 part cornmeal.
That's
so for
correct.
those of us that don't make this on a regular basis, that would mean about, say, 2 cups of flour to 1 cup of cornmeal?
That's correct.
And about how many would that amount serve?
That probably serve 5 or 6 people.
5 or 6
It makes
people
a
to
lot,
that.
believe me.
All right, and then you said sugar. Are we talking about a tablespoon or no?
I use quite a bit of sugar for that. For 2 to 1, I'd probably put half a cup of sugar.
Half a cup of sugar, okay. And then what else did you say goes in it?
There's variations to this. You can put bell peppers chopped up, or you can put jalapeno pepper. Some people just add Rotel. I know people that just put this in.
But no eggs?
No eggs.
No eggs, so we don't want this to rise.
I used to make all kinds of recipes. You put beer in it, you put ice water, you put eggs, you put buttermilk. I found that this is one of the best recipes. Most people like it.
Okay, so we've just got 3 things that are the basic recipe.
correct.
And the liquid for it?
Just water, cold water.
So 4 things, cold water. So we've got 2 cups of flour, a cup of cornmeal, about a half a cup of sugar, and now about how much water, because you're going to be one of those people that says just put it till it looks right.
Well, you put just a little bit of salt and pepper, not much.
Little bit of salt and
Sometimes
pepper.
I even eliminate that. But your water, you make consistency of a thick pancake batter.
Okay.
Lloyd will have more Hush Puppy secrets that will surprise even seasoned chefs after we tell you how to get more recipes from Troy University. The third cookbook from Troy University, celebrating 125 years of taste and traditions of Troy University, is now available for ordering. This handsome volume is packed with recipes reflecting important themes in the life of the university, and also features reflections on the 125-year history of Troy. Taste and Traditions includes recipes for holidays, entertaining, tailgating, and tried and true family favorites, along with memorable recipes, global cuisine, recipes from the university's early years, and much, much more. No kitchen is complete without celebrating 125 years of taste and traditions of Troy University. Order your copy today. Email events@troy.edu or call 1-334-670-3608. Cookbooks are $25 plus $5 shipping and handling, and are also available from Troy student organizations.
This is important. This, you talked about adding water until it's a thick pancake consistency. So this is the consistency
That's
that
correct.
we have now. And the next step is frying
Right, that's
and then
correct.
eating.
So the first thing
tell
I
us.
do, I add about 2 cups of oil in your pan.
And what kind of oil are we using?
I like to use canola oil, but there is real no preference. Some people like peanut oil, and the reason they use peanut oil, which by the way is more expensive, is because it has a higher burn temperature.
Yes.
So it adds nothing to the taste of the fish.
Right. So about how high or how hot are you getting that frying pan in oil?
You need to get it at least 350 to 400. So once it gets to that, I do not have a thermometer, so I'm going to gauge it through my experience, and we'll test it.
Okay.
If it's not hot enough, then we'll wait another.
But on the stove, for those of us with electric stoves, it would be high,
That's correct.
and on gas it would be
I get it high and then bring it down.
Down
I
just a
prefer
little
gas
bit.
cooking. It's easier to regulate.
It does. It gets a little hotter too, I've found.
And by the way, about fish cleaning, my wife makes me clean all our fish out on our dock. I have a cleaning house on the dock, not just for fish. I'm not a hunter, but
I'm with her.
And we cook outside.
And she is also your sous chef, we might add,
That's
at
correct.
homecoming. She should have been with us today
That's
doing
correct.
what I'm doing. But so about how long do you think this is going to heat on high before we're ready to put it
Probably
in?
will take 2 to 3 minutes. Now, while that is heating up, I can go ahead and prepare the seasoning for the fish. Some people use just plain cornmeal, and that's perfectly fine. I use it most of the time. Today I happen to have Zatarain's seasoned cornmeal mix, which is very, very good. I especially love to use this for shrimp.
That's Cajun
Yes, it's a Zatarain's
Zatarain's.
brand.
Okay, and it's in the cornmeal section.
That's correct. I'm going to season up the fish and have it ready. So we'll put the fish over in the bowl, And by the way, you cook the hush puppies first. The reason I cook the hush puppies first is because you do not have to have it quite as hot a temperature as you would your fish. And also it will keep your hush puppies from being dark. I prefer to have a brown, light brown, golden color to my hush puppies. All right, now this is you shake the meal off so it's not real heavy when you put it in your oil.
And that's it, just seasoned cornmeal and no salt and pepper or anything.
Now this already has seasonings in it, but many times I like to add a little bit of Tony's cassoulet. You can use any Cajun spice. Let's look and see if this is a test method. See if it's getting hot enough to.
So the test method is to just pick up a pinch of cornmeal and drop it in.
That's correct. You see it's sizzling?
That's good, and it's sizzling.
It's pretty close, so I think it may not quite be there, but it's hot enough that we can actually start.
All right, now one thing we didn't tell the folks is that we added a little jalapeno pepper to this.
That's correct.
So that's the only thing that we've added today, but you did say that we could add whatever we like.
That's
correct. So corn.
Just make sure onions is in it.
Onions, we forgot lots of chopped onions, and so we have onions, jalapeno pepper, flour, cornmeal, water.
And sugar.
And sugar. Can't forget that sugar.
Now you can see the green, there's only a few pieces of peppers in there, but it's enough to flavor it, make it a little bit. It's not hot, it's like a mild wing taste.
Now you're using an ice cream scoop.
Yes, well, or melon scoop.
A melon scoop.
Get them as small as, many people use teaspoons. But I've learned and some will use a board. You'll go out in the country and out in the cook yards, people have beer parties and cook, they think they know everything like I do. We all think the best way of doing it.
Well, now this is amazing. I had no idea you made them.
Notice a half a scoop.
A half of a melon scoop of the.
Or smaller. I'm telling you.
Oh my.
The reason we're doing this small is because they will blow up or grow on you because of the self-rising that's in there.
So we're using self-rising cornmeal mix.
And it's the hot rise variety.
Hot rise variety. But we're not using self-rising flour.
No ma'am, it will not taste the same.
Just regular flour. So we're using self-rising cornmeal mix, hot rise.
That's correct.
And plain flour.
And it's a very simple recipe. I've used all kinds of recipes in my life, and many of them are very difficult to do. And I found that very few people have negative comments about these hush puppies.
They're divine, and I'm finding what I've been doing wrong, and one of the main things I've been doing wrong is I probably use a huge tablespoon to put my batter in, and they're large and they're never done in the middle. So Jack Hawkins is going to be so happy.
And there are a lot of great universities in the world, but I wouldn't trade any of them for this experience at Troy.
Well, that's quite an endorsement. I notice I've been timing you, and we're at about 2 minutes now that they've been cooking, and they're almost ready. They're a lovely light brown and puffed up.
Now, before you taste one, people say, "Oh, let me try one." They cook inside for 2 or 3 minutes afterwards, so you really need to let them cool a second. Some people like their hush puppies a little bit raw inside, or I wouldn't call it raw, but wet. And others like them very well done. We're going to have a test in a moment and see how people feel about these hush puppies.
Well, and I think that it's easy to see that we used about a half of the melon scoop, which isn't much. I would say they doubled in size.
Absolutely.
And they're just the perfect size, and I think maybe 3 minutes is what we timed those.
That's about.
I think that's what I looked at my watch when you started.
I'm used to cooking outside on a big iron pot that I made, so it's more difficult for me to cook inside. Plus my wife, as I mentioned earlier, when I do that, I pay for it for a long time. The smell stays in your house. Now, if I may, I'd like to go ahead and fry some of the fish.
Okay, so I'm checking you on this as well now. So about the same amount of time.
These are thin pieces. I like thin fish.
And we don't want to overcook that. And the grease is a little hotter now.
Yes.
But we're using the same grease.
That's correct.
I'm trying to get your creative talent on paper for those of us that don't know how to do this. So.
By the way, the recipe for you said was in the cookbook. It's listed under Willie Mae. My mother's name was Willie Mae. She was my grandfather's boy that he didn't have. He had several boys, but he wanted her to be a boy, and she wasn't. So we'll season this one with a little cassoulet. And I mentioned earlier, one of the reasons I first came to Troy was Mrs. Virginia O'Neill. At the end of World War II, you couldn't get vehicles, so my dad, Virginia O'Neill, moved to Destin, Florida, and her brother, I think it was her brother, had a Dodge dealership. And so my dad was able to come up here and get a Dodge truck. But Virginia O'Neill was my mother's best friend for over 52 years.
And she's the reason you came to Troy?
Yes.
Well, this looks and smells delicious. Look how beautiful this is.
See the gold and the color of this. In just a moment, we'd like Mrs. Hawkins to sample if she would, and I'm very sorry I didn't bring some condiments. I have a homemade tartar sauce. It's Cajun.
I've had it. It's
and I
divine.
thought about making it.
Well, I tell you what we could do. Maybe we could put that in the cookbook with the fish recipe.
If I'm not mistaken, I sent that recipe in.
Oh, great. So it's already in there. Well, and I want to say that you added some fish after you added the initial fish. This cooked about 3 minutes, you think? And then this
will be done.
Just
I'm going to go ahead and
beautiful.
turn it off because it's hot enough so it can be cooling. Because this other pot is for a different dish. In fact, I brought recipes or the ingredients for 3 or 4 different recipes, and we may not cook them all today, but I hope we can talk about them.
I hope so, yes. Thank you.
And I love cooking, and I'm not trained in any fashion. I just like to experiment.
Well, some of the best cooks, that's exactly the way that they cook, just by that instinctive cooking, and that's why we're having to talk about measurements, because
artichokes is another.
Artichokes in the hush puppy.
I don't have that today. It just came to my mind because my wife is very picky with seafood. No bones. I've got to cook it for her. She just doesn't eat seafood unless I prepare it for her.
But artichokes in the hush puppy mix?
No, it's a dish that she likes.
Oh,
she didn't like that.
okay.
I'm sorry, it just popped in my mind. I'd use angel hair pasta and cream and artichokes and shrimp. Put it in a dish. It makes a wonderful dish.
I have to have that.
And
we have a daughter that loves artichokes. Now, do you use fresh artichokes or canned artichokes?
You can use either. Fresh is better.
Oh, naturally.
I love to use fresh ingredients whenever I can.
But cooking a fresh artichoke and then getting the heart out to use is a labor of love.
Yes.
Well, I might come to your house for that then.
Well, I would love to cook for you because my wife says that's all I like to do is cook. I don't do any work around the house, but I do. And
that's wonderful.
You ready to take these out? And I like to drain a little bit of the oil off before we set it up.
This is just about my favorite food.
Now, some people do not eat a lot of fried fish because of cholesterol. And when you get our age, or my age, you start having issues. I've had heart bypass, which almost everyone my age I know has. But that doesn't stop me from eating. Just cut down on the amount you eat and get better cooking oil. And now, if you'd like to try one of these, Mrs. Hawkins,
I would love to. I would love to.
Is it?
Well, are the hush?
The hush puppies are ready. Let's try one of those.
Try a hush puppy. Perfect.
The taste test continues after we tell you how to get more recipes from Troy University. The third cookbook from Troy University, celebrating 125 years of taste and traditions of Troy University, is now available for ordering. This handsome volume is packed with recipes reflecting important themes in the life of the university, and also features reflections on the 125-year history of Troy. Taste and Traditions includes recipes for holidays, entertaining, tailgating, and tried and true family favorites. along with memorable recipes, global cuisine, recipes from the university's early years, and much, much more. No kitchen is complete without celebrating 125 years of taste and traditions of Troy University. Order your copy today. Email events@troy.edu or call 1-334-670-3608. Cookbooks are $25 plus $5 shipping and handling and are also available from Troy student organizations.
Well, you brought someone with you today that's a very special guest, so why don't you introduce him for us and let him have a sample of what we're cooking.
Thank you, Mrs. Hawkins. This is my grandson, Robin Hicks. He just graduated from the University of Hawaii in Hilo in economics, and his professor recommended 2 schools for him to attend graduate work in. One was Troy and the other one was George Mason in Virginia. When he found out that his grandfather was a Troy graduate and his dad actually has some 2 years at Troy before he went to another university, he was delighted to make applications, and he was accepted, and we have a house here that he can stay in.
Wonderful.
So he's going to have a home to himself, and I'd like for him to try a hush puppy.
Well, I would too, but I'd also like to say that he told me earlier that he cooks, that his mother started you at what age, Robin?
At about age 5.
Oh my. Well, please sample fish and hush puppy. It's delicious, which I'm sure you already know.
Mrs. Hawkins here tried the hush puppies.
You'll try the fish.
Yeah.
Oh, believe I plan to try the fish.
There you go.
Is it up to standards? Normal oh wow, so good.
Believe it or not, Hawaii does not have a lot of good fish, seafood. Shrimp is terrible.
Really?
And most what they have is all pond raised, what shrimp you do get.
So what about mahi-mahi? I'd always heard that
there.
plentiful. And
I'll let Robin tell you about
Yeah.
the fish that's plentiful.
Well, most of the fish that is plentiful in our waters is, like you said, mahi-mahi, as well as tuna.
Oh,
Or
yes, uh-huh.
So, and we like to eat it raw, the tuna. And
So we actually have the shellfish, more of the shellfish and the high quality shellfish here than in the waters of Hawaii is what you're saying. So the scallops and the oysters and...
Gulf Coast of Alabama, even though Florida has such a large coastline and has such a diverse population of different types of seafood, the Gulf Coast of Alabama is plentiful, very rich in seafood. So it doesn't have to be from Florida. In fact, most of the shrimp that I use comes from Bon Secure, Alabama, Mobile Bay.
Yes.
In fact, Dr. Hawkins is from that area.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. And I have to say, it was hard to cook for him when we were newly married because his mother makes not quite your caliber gumbo, but really wonderful gumbo. And she's tried to teach me, but maybe I'll learn today. You all be sure, those of you watching today, be sure to get the editions coming out this homecoming, 125 Years of Taste and Traditions of Troy University. And as I mentioned, it's our 3rd edition. We hope it's our very best, and we look forward to seeing you this homecoming.